Good morning from New York. Today's subject, the mystic path of feeling revolution, exercising your consciousness. What a feeling revolution. Sounds over the top, doesn't it? The mystic path is a path of feeling. And feeling, if you'll understand it, is you having your drama instead of the drama having you. Your ability to be aware and in control over feeling, and at the same time allowing the feeling to be expressed fully, is a healing situation. You exercise your body, you exercise your mind, right? You exercise choice in the food that you eat, and the type of physical exercise you have. All of these things put you in control. Why is the mystic path better than a lot of things out there? Well, it depends on your situation. Let's suppose you've got a severely damaged leg. You might need physical therapy. You need an expert to help you and to work from the outside to slowly get your leg back into shape or your back back into shape. You might need to learn to walk again if there's another problem, and you might need professional care. But we don't need to become a nation of, or a world of wimps. A world of wimps. It's not good for your health. They've discovered that taking risks and exercise is so very important to of all kinds. Is so very important to our growth, to the children's welfare and development. And feelings are a big part of that. When you exercise your feelings are what I call the dramatic self in you. That's your kid experiencing your life. And it's about the feelings that you have even before you have language. You either have that feeling or the feeling has you, completely. So you need to be able to integrate as you feel. And let's say that you feel the truth. Well, you might need a little conversation with your objective, empathetic self, your more adult person that you are, and the emotional kid in you, to separate feeling from thinking. That gives you this point of control. You have the feeling doesn't have you. And yet, you're having the feeling. And that is integrating. And being able to create perspectives is another way that you have the feeling without the feeling having you. Um, I remember Ruth Carter Stapleton's approach. She was a Christian lady, um, and she would have people recount difficult times in their lives and deprivations in their lives, and have Jesus step in, you know, kind of recreating. She's acting as the inner artist, recreating that experience. Where one lady is very frightened, and one time in her life, because there's a burglary, she's hiding under the bed. Ruth had Jesus under the bed with her this time, so she's feeling it, but she has the feeling. The feeling doesn't have her. Jesus is there holding her hand in this new perspective, and telling her in this memory, the little girl in her, it's going to be all right. And of course it was. The thing passed. The same thing she dealt with a young man that needed a father. So she went through 9 innings of baseball with with Jesus, pitching for the boy and him running the bases. And, 9 innings. She was something else. Well, that's the action of the artist in you, and another way of having the feeling, but the feeling not having you. You have the memory. The memory doesn't have you. So, communicating with people who are important to you, people that should have loved you, that you should have loved, but didn't sufficiently, and people that did love you, and people you did love. That's another way of, that's compassionate empathy. It opens more to the expression of feeling, and allows you to recognize when love was there, and you were too hurting to receive it, and when it wasn't there, you can now express your feelings about that, and your feelings, when you have a feeling instead of a feeling having you, it's integrating. It's helpful to you. It actually feels good when you're doing the integration. It feels like the right thing to do. Now the problem with professional care is that, despite all of the good points, is that how do they know? How does this therapist know what you need to do? What feels right to you? They have to kind of hunt and pick around. And some are better at that, and some are not very good at it at all, but they have the degree. So pick wisely. Training a person to exercise their own feelings. I mean, that's and to gain mastery over their feelings and yet fully have their feelings. Your feeling self is your conscious self. If you remove feeling, you remove consciousness. You're just an AI. Now, to have consciousness, you have to have feeling. And if the feeling has you, then that's not very healing. That's not something that you can grow from, and it's not something that that's good for your skills that help you to be in charge. And this is revolutionary because it brings you to a healthier moral state and it's empowering. You know, you're helping yourself. It's empowering. There's a lot to be said for that. And you know, other people helping you, there's a lot to be said for that too. But you definitely need to be, the whole goal should be that you are helping yourself in the end, as much as possible. And you know, even in a therapeutic situation where you actually have a disease that might need medicine or something, but you would need both to some degree, because the feelings are you. If you're only behaving better because you know that it's a better choice, well, that's really not the same as feeling a motivation to love, a motivation to care, to do the right thing. And so these forms of empathy teach you, your inner artist, your inner counselor, your inner caregiver, teach you virtue, truth from objectivity, artfulness from creativity, and compassion. From compassionate empathy. Goodness is the virtue there. Thought I wasn't going to tell you. Yeah, so compassionate empathy gives you goodness. You know, the ethics majors are going to go, well, that's not the whole picture. Well, yeah, but it's a nice outline here. And at the core of doing good because you want to is a real connection to empathetic compassion, or compassionate empathy. And objectivity is absolutely essential to understanding others and yourself. And that helps you to be more truthful. For one thing, as I talked about before, you're separating your thinking from your feelings. I feel that's the truth. That can be extremely misleading. And you probably need a therapy session with Neil deGrasse Tyson. These approaches make you such a much better person. Now, just simple awareness gives you that mastery. And so just to be aware with, before you had language, you had at least the awareness. And that can give you a kind of power, so that you have the feeling and it doesn't have you. It's where you learn to focus on feeling and play with feeling and express feeling. These are skills also. that help you to be in charge. If you're having a feeling integration experience, you're not having an emotional fit. The feeling doesn't have you. If somebody knocks on the door, you put the session and you go answer the door and say hi. Or you look through the peepholes, make sure it's safe to say hi. Depending on where you live, perhaps. I don't know. Anyway, probably a good idea all the time nowadays. But you got to take a little risk in life, or you don't have any meaning in your life. And you have to do things that are empowering. You just have to try and help yourself. No one can force you to a better diet or a proper exercise. They can train you, they can help you, they can give you, as experts, they can give you how much you should do and what your choices are in diet and exercise. And it's the same way with feeling. But the path of the mystic, I keep thinking of Star Wars. Trust your feelings, Luke. Well, you can trust the feelings that you have. You can't trust the feelings that have you. That's the problem with MAGA. These folks, with all the anger and the fear, that the hatred and the paranoia of the mindset, and that's so common in MAGA, is a fine example of not having the feeling, but the feeling having you. And it's you can't trust that. I feel that Trump should be the next president. I felt good when he was in charge. I mean, those are not good reasons to vote for the guy. And since he lacks such a great degree of empathy, he's not going to be good for you. He's hurting a lot inside. He's more, when people are in a lot of hurt inside, doesn't mean you hate them or you're mean to them, but they should not be in leadership positions, because they tend to be, a person's going to tend to be more selfish. And that has value, because that allows us, if they'll be open, to help them with their traumatic lives. And but before you go running to the professionals, look, you learned how to walk on your own. Have a little faith. You learned how to speak on your own. You had some outside help, sure, but mostly you had to take some risks, and you had to take some chances with your words and with your steps. And that's part of being alive. That's part of being conscious. Don't give up being conscious. This is a feeling revolution. It's a conscious revolution. You're exercising your consciousness when you exercise your feelings, because without feeling you're not conscious. With feeling you're conscious. That is, if you have the feeling, not the feeling having you. That's not as fully conscious. And so the different practices and echo love form of inner mind communication, which there are 6. Can you tweak those? Can you approach them in a different way? Yeah, sure. Um, there are different possible ways to do all of these things. But the things that I teach on this channel, they work. And try it out. And if you need to tweak it, then by all means, do so. To suit yourself. They're different. People have different gateways. People have different skills, that is, regarding that help them more or less with these different practices. And go to your strong point first. To what you're attracted to, what makes you feel best, and work from there. Focus is each one of the practices they have a great things about them just in isolation. But when you put them all together, you have a fuller consciousness experience. And no, you don't need to. Most people aren't going to need chemical aids like LSD or magic mushroom, which can be a lot more risky than what I'm talking about here, and may not actually. They don't develop unless you augment that. You're not developing the skills, so if you're going to do that, make sure that you've got a professional therapist on hand, and be someone who's going to be very cautious in the approach, and keep it within at least general safe bounds. What are the guardrails with this practice? Well, if you're having nightmares, back off for a while. You're maybe opening up feelings that you're not ready for. So, back off a little bit. Not that the nightmare's necessarily that bad. But back off a little bit. And it's like exercise. If you're really, really, really sore, don't go back out there and do the same thing you just did. Back off a little bit. If you're having night terrors, you need to see a professional therapist that might be able to help you with the medication. I'm certainly more in favor of psychiatrists than I am of psychologists, which can't do that for you. They used to be just trainers, just augments to the psychiatrists and under their supervision. Now they're not, and I think that was not a good move. I really do think that was not a good move. From my experiences with some of them. But this is a revolution of virtue, consciousness, that can lead to a more peaceful, productive world. All right. I've held your attention possibly long enough. I hope that you'll subscribe to the channel if you agree that we need more empathy and awareness in the world, whether or not you agree with everything I say. We will have other mystics on the channel. Maybe some of them will have a different take on things, so stay tuned. We're going to try to bring in people who, both professionals and trainers in different ways, whenever the channel grows. And to do that, we're going to need a lot of subscribers and to get it off the road and make sure that people feel it's worth their time, especially professional. It's worth their time to be on the channel. Yeah. So think about those different skills. And 3 of the skills are involved with role play. 3 are involved with more meditative approach. That's a connection to your pre-language experience, the experience of your infant mind, which is can be kind of trippy, but it helps break the bonds a little bit of that we have from a rigid self-concept, basically conditioned by our social interactions and other people's opinions. This revolution means realizing a more flexible self, a self that is more transcendent in regards to static concepts of who you are. If you have too static a concept, how are you going to make positive changes? You think about that. So I like to give my Irish blessing and my quote from Carl Sagan at the end of my videos. Little self-indulgent. I hope you can tolerate that. But if you like the videos, be sure and share them. That does a lot for the channel. And those who subscribe will have benefits. You will possibly be invited to some of our Zoom calls where we have discussions. And those who subscribe can, we may offer training in this mystic revolution. These skills. Yeah. Here's the Irish blessing. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. The rain fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of His hand, or her hand, or its hand, however you see the source of ultimate love. And here's what Carl Sagan said that is so wonderful and is expressed by saying Namaste. Carl Sagan said that we are the universe knowing itself. And hopefully there's more life out there doing the same thing. That's amazing. So when you approach one another, be filled with awe and wonder and an open mind. And sense the greatness and the mystery of who they are. And the potential. Yeah. So, I'd like you to, and that's the feeling you get and when you say Namaste. So, make a great day today, you can. Namaste.